Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining me in this live stream. All right, so in this live stream right here, I do want to follow up to the video that I had out this morning where I've had a lot of questions rolling in, like hundreds and hundreds of questions rolling in, a lot of which being very, very similar. So I thought, it's probably pretty relevant to come back here in this live stream, talk about the details of the announcement again out of the president. I'm anticipating at this point, you probably saw the video from this morning that I posted just I don't know, 6 hours ago or something like that, whatever it was. So I'm going to anticipate that you probably saw that video and the details of what was announced by the president. And within that video from this morning, by the way, if you're wondering, yes, I also did include a clip of the president speaking so you could hear it literally right from him. But anyway, if you did not see that video from this morning, first off, I would suggest this much. Maybe after you get done watching this, go back and check out the video from this morning right here on this channel. Super interesting. And you can hear that clip of the president speaking and exactly what he said in an interview where he was talking about between $1,000 and $2,000 in a distribution or dividend paid to the people of America. Okay. So anyway, pretty interesting. So I've had a lot of people reaching out with a lot of questions, but like I said, a lot of the questions are also structured very, very similar, okay? But consistent with the title of this live stream right here, it says, when? A lot of people are saying, when am I going to get it? I need this money like right now. How much is it going to be? Are we going to be included? Which, by the way, that is another very, very popular question that I've seen so far today as I've been going through reading the comments and responding. A lot of people reaching out saying, hey, will SSI be included? Will SSI get this? What about SSDI? What about retirement? What about seniors? People like this, right? Again, all of which very good questions, things like that. Anyway, super really fast recap here of what the president said in that interview and just kind of quickly details on that. Okay. And again, check out the video from this morning. It's very clear. I made it very clear in that video. And again, I played that clip in that video from this morning of the president speaking. All right. Anyway, president was out in an interview. He was talking about all kinds of different things. He's anticipating that the tariff revenues will bring in about $1 trillion a year. That's what he is anticipating, $1 trillion a year. It's a lot of money, right? Well, right now, by the way, this country is bringing in the most amount of money in the form of tariff revenues that we've ever seen. In fact, I just read a report yesterday that the last couple months, the last 2 months alone, we've brought in $66 billion in tariff revenues. That's more than $1 billion a day that we're bringing in right now from tariff revenues. It's a lot of money. They're projecting about $350 billion of tariff revenues over a 12-month period of time that'll be brought in. It's a lot of money. I agree. That is a lot of money. Okay. So anyway, in this interview, the president was talking about all the money and what they want to do with it. Obviously, they want to use a bunch of that money to pay down the national debt, things like that. But then also he did discuss and he did mention that they're thinking about this distribution of between $1,000 and $2,000 to the people of America. Okay. So anyway, watch that video from this morning. You'll hear it right from him and you can see that clip. All right. So anyway, that's a quick little recap of that video. Okay. Now let's follow up to the questions that I've been seeing rolling in all throughout the day today. I mostly want to focus on, again, I'll hit on some other questions as well that have come up, but I mostly want to focus on the one big question of when. I've had a lot of people say, when are we going to get it? I've even seen a few questions rolling in, or comments, I should say, that say something like, I got my Social Security, there was no extra raise, or there was no extra benefit, or I didn't get any more. No, it's not going to be, first off, it's not going to be a raise to your benefit. That's not what this is. As he's discussing a distribution or dividend to us, okay, what that really means is stimulus. When you hear the words dividend, distribution, rebate, economic impact payment, any of these words like this, it literally means stimulus. There's like 17 different ways that you can express the word stimulus. Okay, that's what we know it as. That's what we've been calling it for years. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so that's what that's all about. So anyway, he said distribution, he said dividend. Just fill in those blanks with stimulus. Same thing. Okay. Anyway, so it's not going to be a raise to Social Security. It's not what that is. I saw a couple comments rolling in asking, hey, I got my check. I didn't see a raise. It's not what it is. It's not a raise to our benefit. Anyway, when could we possibly see something like this? Okay. The people that have been asking this in that video from this morning in the comment section, I have been responding, and I said, this is not something that's supposed to come today. It's not supposed to come tomorrow. And I'll be fair with you as well. It's probably not going to come this month. I'm just going to be 100% fair, okay? Here's why as well. And I saw a number of people reaching out saying, you know, they've been talking about this for months. It takes forever. I agree with you. It's a very slow process. And also I saw this many, many times as well, which was a lot of people reaching out saying, he said might or maybe. Okay, you're right. He did say that. But remember this much as well. It's really, at the end of the day, it is up to him, but it's also mostly up to lawmakers. That's really what it comes down to. I know that he has the final say, but really comes down to lawmakers. They're the ones who have to draft the legislation. They're the ones that need to negotiate it. They're the ones who need to amend the different piece of legislation or the different aspects of it. They're the ones that need to vote on it, pass it through the House, pass it through the Senate, and then push it onto the president's desk where he literally just signs it and turns it into law and makes it official, right? Okay, so you're right. When he said might or maybe, whatever word he used in the video is one of those two words. When he used that word, you're right. Can lawmakers do it? That's really what it comes down to. Can the lawmakers do it is really what it comes down to, okay? But anyway, so yeah, just a bunch of the, you know, very similar questions roll in it. But when could we see something like this? Okay, really good question. It really comes down to when would lawmakers implement something like this? Now, if you've been watching the videos on the channel for a while now, you've heard me say many different things like this for many, many years, which is, well, first off, there's multiple different catalysts that could predicate the distribution and or approval of something like this. Number one would be, in fact, I just had a short yesterday. Did you see the short from yesterday? I don't know how many people watched it, a few thousand people. I don't know however many views that thing has. It's not very many. It's, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000, something like that. Whatever. But my point is, in that short, I said the major catalyst for the distribution of additional stimulus. What is it? In my opinion, tariffs. Tariffs. Realistically, I just said it yesterday in a short. And this was before this announcement out of the president, by the way. But anyway, there's multiple different catalysts, right? Catalyst being what would be the reason in which something would be distributed. It could be a collapse in the economy. It could be a slowing economy. It could be an economic contraction, a recession, a crash and burn, right? Whatever you want to call it. It could be any of these types of situations, and that could be a major catalyst. Next, we also heard this about, I don't know, a month ago, no, probably 2 months ago now. We heard out of different lawmakers that they're bringing in their next reconciliation bill, like right now. In fact, they've been working on it behind closed doors in privacy. They've been working on the next reconciliation bill. And their plan, by the way, is to have it passed before the end of the year. That's the plan. Could it be delayed? Yeah, it could be easily delayed. But remember, the reconciliation bill, if they wanted to, could contain this distribution, dividend, whatever they want to call it, rebate, whatever. It could have that in there if they just wanted to do that. Okay, so that's pretty important too. That's another out. They also indicated that early next year, there's going to be another reconciliation bill. Again, another opportunity to add this in if they just so wanted. Now, another major catalyst that I'm looking at as well, that I think we all need to consider, is that what comes in about 1 year from right now, that we're going to be talking about a lot, and it's going to be inundating our lives in about 1 year from right now. Do you know what it is? You know what I'm about to say. Yeah, the midterms. The midterm election is in about a year from now. Well, okay, it's about 13 months from now, to be fair. But in a year from now, we're going to be talking about this. It's going to be hot and heavy. It's going to be everywhere. And we're going to be absolutely inundated by it, right? So what my point is by that is that that's another catalyst as well. So we have many, many, many different catalysts here that could well, distribute and or approve or predicate the distribution of any of these types of payments, okay? So anyway, coming back to those questions and kind of bringing this thing full circle, which is when? Again, that's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess. It really depends on the urgency behind something like this. I want to point this out super fast. I'm just going to use this as a little historical example of what we witnessed just a handful of years ago. We literally all witnessed this. I'm not sure how many people really took note of this, but let me point it out for you. And you can look it up if you want to. If you want to fact check any of this, I would actually encourage you to do so because it's actually pretty interesting. So right now it feels like lawmakers take forever to get anything done. Agreed. I agree with you on that. It feels like they take forever. Why? There's not a serious urgency to do it. In their vision, in their opinion, in their In their situation, it's not like an urgent situation where it's like, oh, we got to act super fast right now. However, think back to early 2020. What happened? We were all living our lives totally fine, right? Totally normal. And then all of a sudden things got weird. They're like, hey, stay at home. We're canceling all these events, right? Sporting events, social gatherings, stuff like this. They're like starting to cancel them. We're like, what's going on here? This is weird. Why are they canceling all this stuff, right? Do you remember this? I remember at the time, it was like, this is weird. Why are they canceling? This is so weird. Why are they canceling all this stuff, right? And then they told us, stay at home, don't move, don't even peek out your door, just stay there, right? Just stay home. Okay, fine, we will do that. Well, my point is, basically in a 1 month period of time, literally a 1 month period of time, we went from living our lives fine to lawmakers drafting and passing and sending to the president's desk and distributing, all of which happened within about a month's time. It could have been 5 weeks, but I mean, literally in a very, very short amount of time, they conceived of the CARES Act, $2.3 trillion, which contained $1,200 stimulus checks, and they passed it through the House, they passed it through the Senate, it had it signed by the president, and they had money in bank accounts, all of which within like 4 to 5 weeks. It all happened very quick. Why? Urgency, yes, urgency. The urgency to get it done very quickly, they moved quickly, right? So by nature, lawmakers are like probably a bunch of tortoises, right? They don't move very quickly at all. They kind of just like hang out, and it's like, is that thing a fossil? Is it just like sitting there? Is it, is it doing anything? Or like, what's it doing, right? Or all of a sudden you get some urgency and all of a sudden it can move very, very quickly, right? So same situation here. So anyway, right now, my point with that is that at the moment, there may not be, from an economic standpoint, from a political standpoint, from a timing standpoint, there may not be a super high urgency to do anything like this. However, let's just say that next week, the economy crashes and burns for whatever reason. Again, I'm just making this up, just giving a hypothetical example. Let's just say for some weird reason, the economy absolutely burns next week, right? For whatever reason, the economy just nosedives. Do you think that lawmakers would have more urgency at that point to do stimulus, to get it out to the people so we can all go out and buy a bunch of stuff and stimulate the economy? Absolutely. Okay. Right now, in their opinion, they don't have that amount of urgency, even though that the president in that clip and in that little, the little interview and the clip that I shared in that morning video indicated they're thinking about a distribution, a dividend, between $1,000 and $2,000, because they're thinking about it. They don't have like significant urgency at the moment to do it. But if they needed to, they absolutely could do it very, very, very quickly. Does that make sense? Right? So the big question of when is really kind of up in the air. Okay. It's really up in the air. When could be like, well, what happens with the overall economy in the next, few weeks to next couple months? Again, if something happens there, they could easily distribute it very, very quickly. They can do this stuff very, very fast. If they want to, they easily can. But also the next question would be is, okay, we've also kind of got this backstop. In about, say, 13 months from now, we have the midterm elections, okay? So I would say I would use the midterm elections as probably a backstop to this. What I mean by that is, if they're going to do it, they probably want to do it before then. Why? Because that's where they're going to get the biggest bang for their buck, right? What I mean by that is, let's just say it how it is. Bribe. Yes, bribe. That's what it comes down to, right? We've seen it before. This would not be the first time. We saw it back in 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah, 2020. We saw it back in 2020 with the Georgia runoff Senate election. Do you remember this? The Georgia runoff race there? Do you remember that whole thing? Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole politics of it. It doesn't really matter. I'm not here to throw people under the bus or to slam people. I'm just saying we saw it then too. The same thing with the $1,400. The only reason we got the $1,400 back in 2021 is because it was a bribe in late 2020 and early 2021. That's the reason we got it. We literally got baited and hooked with a $1,400 payment for a bribe. I'm just saying, okay, simple politics. We see it all the time. This would not be the first time. So my point being is that that's kind of where we're at. Basically now, out until the midterms, in about 13 months from now. That's my kind of consensus on when the backstop being, again, the midterm elections. But again, it's got to be timed perfectly, because if they wait too long, it's not going to be as powerful as they need. If they do it too early, then, people might forget by then. Now, here's what also super interesting about this, that I think the president maybe painted himself into a little bit of a corner with this. And I'm just going to throw it out there really quickly, right? Because I like to analyze everything very closely, which is this. Okay, so about, when was it? Here we are, early October. It was about 2 months ago. Yeah, give or take a little bit, about 2 months ago. The president was okay, let me say that again. The president was about to leave on a weekend trip to Europe, okay? Before he left, he was standing outside and a reporter asked him about the tariffs and if there was going to be a rebate. Do you remember this? We talked about it in great detail, and the president indicated, yep, we're thinking about a little rebate to certain people of an income or of a certain income. Do you remember this? We talked about it. I shared the clip with you of the president speaking. There was a helicopter in the background. Anyway, all of that, okay? That was about 2 months ago, give or take a couple days. Anyway, in that, he indicated that. The very next day, we got information out of Senator Josh Hawley, where he said, I'm going to come back and introduce this as an official piece of legislation. True. That was on a Friday. So the president said it on a Thursday. Josh Hawley said that on a Friday. The following Monday, just a couple days later, Josh Hawley came back and introduced the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025. And in that, it suggested a $600 rebate distributed to us in the event of, well, a rebate check because of tariff revenues and basically a profit share back to us because of the tariff revenues, okay? Now, what I mean by this is, long story short, the way that I mean that the president kind of painted himself in a corner, okay, so the president in this interview just indicated, we're thinking between $1,000 and $2,000. Okay, awesome. We're going to bank that as a minimum of $1,000, maybe up to $2,000. Awesome. What if they came back now and said, yeah, we're going to do a rebate, a dividend, a distribution, and we're going to do $600? Do you think any of us would be satisfied, or do you think a lot of people would be very disgruntled and really angry? I think a lot of people would be very disgruntled and very angry. Why? Because the president just said between 1,000 and 2,000, and now they come back and say 600, consistent with the American Worker Rebate Act that was introduced by Josh Hawley about 2 months ago, and suggesting 600. I think a lot of us would feel shortchanged. I feel a lot of us would feel stiffed on this, and a lot of people would probably be very, very frustrated by it, and it would have no meaning whatsoever. In fact, it would probably irritate people more than anything. In my opinion, it would probably be a very negative messaging if they were to do 600, simply because the president just said between 1,000 and 2,000. So what I'm saying by that is, if they did 600, although it would be very nice, I'd be super grateful. I'd be very happy with 600 because I'm just being grateful, right? But at the same time, I'd still kind of feel like, dude, you stiffed us. You said 1,000 between 1 and 2,000, and now we got 600, right? I feel like you bait and switched us again, right? So that's kind of how I think a lot of people would also feel by this. So what I mean by what I said a couple minutes ago is, I think the president painted himself in a corner, is that what I think they got to do now, minimum 1,000. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of angry people. Okay. That's just my opinion about that. Again, maybe I'm totally off by that, but I think we've all got it in our heads now, 1,000 to 2,000, right? 1,000 to 2,000. Worst case scenario, $1,000. Best case scenario, $2,000. So if they come back and say 600, we're all going to be like, what? 600? That's not what you said, right? Even though technically it is what they said, but we're all kind of latching onto this new threshold now. Is that going to make sense, right? So anyway, when it comes down to messaging, very, very important when it comes down to politics, because at the end of the day, it's all about proper posturing and messaging. And if they send the wrong message, bad news, right? So anyway, not trying to turn this into a political video. I'm just saying we got to think through all the aspects of this. Anyway, I hope this kind of answers the question for you. There's been a lot of people asking when, who, how much, all these details. I've been responding to a number of questions from this morning's video anyway, by the way, from people reaching out, asking all kinds of things. And I continue to come back and answer a lot of these questions when people say, all these different questions. And I keep saying, this is all we know at this time. It's all we know. The president was out in this interview. He indicated this. It was one simple comment. It took him like 15 seconds to say it. And again, I kind of timed it. It was maybe 15 seconds. in that video clip that I shared this morning, where he indicated all the tariff revenues paying down national debt and maybe using some of that money to distribute a distribution or a dividend in the amount between $1,000 and $2,000 to the people of America, is basically what he said. Okay. So anyway, that's all we really know at this point. I would imagine, just being fair, I think there's going to be some follow-up on this, because I haven't seen other people talking about it yet, but I'm sure every other person out there is going to be jumping on this bandwagon and really hammering this. Okay, I wouldn't be shocked if there's all kinds of other people out there making videos and oh my, look at all this. Okay, so anyway, you heard it here first. Just remember that much, right? So anyway, so I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can. This is what we know. Okay, so I'm not just going to sit here and make stuff up and be like, well, the president's going to do this and it's going to be coming on this day. I don't know that. I'm going to wait for more guidance out of the president or the administration or somebody who maybe has a little bit more information about this. And once we get that information, of course, I'll continue to be here for you right by your side, indicating, the latest updates, where we're currently at, and everything else you need to know about this. Kind of make sense, right? So for those of you that are asking, I hope this kind of clarifies it a little bit more. Just like everything, and like we've been talking about for so many years now, it's literally a wait and see type of situation. However, I pointed this out this morning as well. By the way, I was going to wrap this video up a long time ago, but as long as I keep thinking of things, I'm just going to keep rolling for a minute. What was I going to say now? Oh yeah, I said this in the video this morning, which is this. I find it to be a little bit interesting that so far since inauguration, okay, so that was January 20th, and here we are in early October. So what is that? Yeah, 8 months, whatever it is, right? So not very many months that the president has been there. This is now the third time he has endorsed the distribution of money to us in the form of stimulus, a rebate, a dividend, what else? A distribution, an impact payment, whatever you want to call it. This is now the third time in, call it like 8 to 9 months, that he's already endorsed this. I don't know. I find that to be very interesting, because for many, many years, we heard virtually nothing out of a president or lawmakers or anybody saying we should get money back to the people. For the most part, we didn't hear anything for like 4 years. We heard nothing about getting anything back to the people. Nada, nothing, right? And now in the last 8 to 9 months, we've heard 3 different ideas on getting money to us. I don't know. I find that to be fascinating. And maybe it's just talk, and maybe it's just, blowing smoke. I don't know. I'm just saying it's interesting. But here's another thing as well. The more they talk about it, the more they're really painting themselves into a corner. Because if they don't act on this, even though they keep talking about it, I'm going to feel like that's not a good message to send to the public. I'm just saying, right? If they keep saying something and they don't follow through, a lot of us are probably going to think, you said it so many times and you're not following through. Can we really trust what's going to be said? Can we really trust anything going forward now? Just pointing some things out, just my observations on this, kind of understanding and reading the room, right? Anyway, hope this helps. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Again, drop some comments down below. Seriously, drop a comment down below. Are you still watching this? Hey, anybody there? Hey, anybody? You're there right now? Anybody? Or am I just talking to myself right now? It could be. I sit here in this room and talk to myself all day. Probably why I'm getting to be more nuts every day that goes by. Years and years go by, and I'm just turning into like a total nut job, right? Probably because I sit here all day talking to myself. Anyway, I'm here for you. Please let me know what else I can do for you. By the way, now that we are here in October, please do yourself a huge, huge favor. There are hundreds and hundreds of Medicare plans that will be completely eliminated, discontinued. Call my partners over at Chapter, right there. Phone number, free, 100% free. You see it right there. Free Medicare help. Free Medicare help. There you go. Phone number's right there. Serving it to you on a silver platter, right there. Silver platter, which, by the way, I really wish I had a silver platter. It'd probably be worth a few $100s these days because the price of silver has gone up significantly. That'd be awesome. I'd love that. But I don't have a silver platter. I'm just saying. There you go. Phone number's right there. Give them a call. Again, my partners over at Chapter, and they are helping so many of you here in this community that are saving a ton of money. In fact, I just got a comment today from Kevin. Kevin, sorry, I don't know your last name. I didn't catch that, but he called. He's saving $2,000 a year. I got another comment from today. Who was that? What was it? $300. who's this person? I apologize. I'm drawing a blank on your name right now. I think it's Anita, maybe. I apologize. I didn't catch your name. I'll give you a shout out in a future video, by the way. I got 2 comments today alone. I think it was Anita. Anita called. She's saving $300 after talking to them. Kevin called. He's saving $2,000 after talking to them. Those are just 2 that I got today, so far today, that have called. Incredible. Anyway, Chapter Medicare, absolutely amazing. They've helped tons of you here in this community. Phone number's there. They're on standby. They're waiting to talk to you. A real human, not a robot, not a humanoid robot, not an AI system, not an automated system, none of that. A real live person, believe it or not. And it's 100% for free. Anyway, give them a call. Drop a comment down below after you do. Use the word chapter within your comment. That's the keyword that is searched for. And I'd love to give you a shout out and feature you in an upcoming video. And I'll get your names right. Okay, I'm just trying to go off the fly here. From the comments that I saw this morning, Kevin, and I believe it was Anita that reached out today alone, saving all that money. Anyway, I want to have my wife, I'm going to text her. I forgot to send her a text. Sorry. I had my wife, Corey, come on in and help me out here. But hope this helps you. Okay, here we are, October, super busy time of year. Oh, one quick side note. I'm going to throw this out there super fast if anybody's still out there. This morning, we were supposed to get the job data. Guess what did not get released? The job data. Guess what we're not going to get on October 15th if we're still in a government shutdown? We're not getting the COLA announcement, okay? It's not happening if we're still in a government shutdown, because BLS, they're all sitting on the beach right now doing nothing because the government shut down. So therefore, BLS is not releasing data. We're supposed to get the job report today. Didn't get it. We're not getting inflation data on the 15th. If we're still in a shutdown, that means no COLA announcement, by the way. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. All right, anyway, Corey's here to help me out. Please have a nice day. I'm here for you. Drop your comments.